All right, guys, welcome back. Um, Thanks for tuning. Oh, 8 people. That's amazing. All right, we are going to continue from the from yesterday's stream because we kind of messed up everything. But hey, that's how you learn new stuff. Yeah, Costa,
Yeah,
let's go, Costa. And yeah, for those of you new here, let me introduce you to my friend Ilya Boshkov. He's been my colleague for I would say 4 or 5 years, but it has been my friend since elementary school. So I go way back with this guy. And yeah, Ilya, why don't you tell something about yourself? Introduce yourself to the folks that are watching.
yeah. So if you guys missed the stream yesterday, hi, I'm Ilya. As Lazar said, we've been friends for a long time, and well, also colleagues for a long time now. So yeah, my passion has been always programming, automating stuff, and well, recently, not so recently actually, but. I've really been into this Docker thing, into deployments, DevOps, and getting everything in the whole stack from beginning to end, from development into production. And yeah, I like to tackle the whole thing, not just touch a little bit here, stick in the back end and stick in the front end, and just stick to that. You and me both, we like to play around with all of the different layers of the onion that is software development these days.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Definitely, yeah. And again, thanks for being my guests on the stream. I really want to push this project that I've been building to production, and you're the best guy for it. So definitely, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for inviting me. It's yesterday was very fun and I think,
intense.
Yeah, it was intense, but it was also fun and very experimental, very natural. We weren't really prepared.
Yeah,
I think we're a little bit better prepared now because we fixed some things in the beginning just so we don't bore the watchers at all with the boring stuff.
Yeah, and also we learned a ton of stuff from yesterday's stream that we are going to use in today's stream. So we are definitely better than yesterday.
Yeah,
and that's the motto. Yeah, you should be better every day.
Continuous improvement, continuous delivery.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
Yeah. All right. So for the guys that watched yesterday's stream, you guys know that we pooped it. We tried to downgrade Blitz.js to the alpha version instead of beta, and that was that's the mistake that we made. Before we actually start, yeah, go ahead, man.
I think, man, pooping it is a bit of a bad word. We steered in the wrong direction.
We steered in the wrong direction. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean. We kind of botched the whole thing, but it's cool. We learned a ton of stuff, and right now, before I actually started this stream, I sat down to fix all of the stuff, clean up the whole project from bugs and errors and stuff, and I made sure that we can run this in production locally, in the production node environment. And we had a lot of trouble yesterday with that, but yeah. We are way past that. So let me give you a quick tour about what I did to recover from yesterday's mistakes, and we can then start to Dockerize, build the image, and see everything in production. Okay. So okay, you guys see the screen? Yeah, you can. Awesome. All right. So let's scroll down. First thing that I did is revert everything regarding the Blitz.js version downgrade and the Prisma version downgrade and everything. So right now we are sitting at 0.31. We're still not at latest. There's 0.33. But this is beta. Yeah, this is beta. That one was alpha. There's a huge difference, right? So I reverted back to reverted back to the last workable state of the app. I ran a quick yarn install and yarn def, and now let's just confirm. Let's run yarn def and see it in action. And there were a lot of stuff, like some naming convention changes and API changes and everything that happened when Blitz and migrated from alpha to beta. And there were also a lot of changes into the Prisma package as well. And I'll explain it to you now.
Yeah,
So,
you know what? What's weird, man, is that yesterday, when we were running the dev build, it was working, and when we ran it into production, it failed. So
it failed.
I actually am not sure why it was failing. It should have not compiled because of the naming convention changed, but
yeah,
it did. I don't know why, but okay.
We will
Maybe
check it out. Yeah.
Maybe something was cached or something. I have no idea, but yeah.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, we are back on the stable version. We can see the dashboard now. We can request a new leave, so let's just do that real quick. Let's take a day off tomorrow. Streaming. Let's submit that. We can say, okay, request created successfully. Nice. And because I'm an admin, I can see all of the pending requests, and I can approve this one, right? And if we go back to the dashboard, we can see now I have 15 days left because I took 4 vacation days and a day off for tomorrow, right? Hey,
Yep.
Manuel. And this is working properly now. I can say that. So let me give you a quick tour. Yeah, git reset everything except the Docker stuff, but that's not really connected to the app. Git reset everything. Bring back everything to the versions that they used to be. And we had a lot of trouble with Prisma. So let me see here. We used to have the create, for example, the arguments, the type arguments for creating, updating, deleting the models from the database directly from DB. But that changed, and I'm not sure why. But Prisma is now exporting a namespace called Prisma, and within that namespace we can access all of these create arguments, like absence tracking period create arguments or update arguments. And I just found that out today, and I changed. I am importing Prisma from the DB folder, and I am using these with the prisma.prefix now. So this seems to work. Everything's cool. Everything's fine. Another issue. Let me just find a good example for you guys. Another issue that I encountered was this. Check this out. This used to be the find many absence tracking period arguments, right? And not only that, they moved everything to Prisma, but now also they changed the naming convention. So instead of find many absence tracking period arguments, we need to import the absence tracking period find many arguments. Okay, so there's we can see that there's also a naming convention happening between the versions that we were and the versions that we update to. So I found that out a few minutes ago actually, and we have everything working. No errors, nothing. So we can see that everything is cool here. We have all the pages. We have dark mode in Chakra UI working. Let's try to log out and log back in. There we go. Lazar@halicha.com. Here we are. We got the data loaded. Nice and pretty. Okay. So, those were the refactoring stuff that I needed to do. I did them, and I tried to run yarn build. So basically build ourselves a production ready package from our app, and let's see what this does. Okay, it compiled the app and now it's creating a production build.
This is the key thing that broke yesterday.
Yeah.
So dev was working and we could test out the application and navigate, log in, and all of that stuff. Once we tried to run it in production, it just spit out a bunch of errors and just basically stopped working. And it turns out JavaScript is beautiful, so it can fail silently and not tell you exactly what it is. It can even compile and work. Compile is the wrong word here. It's just transpiling from TypeScript to JavaScript. And somehow that all passed, and the application just broke when it was run in production on the server when we finally deployed it. So now we're going to be doing a bit of backtracking and go back to where we started. I'll give you guys a bit of a recap on what we did yesterday, but I'll try to keep it quick because you can just go watch I think the full stream is up on Lazar's YouTube channel. And
it's 3.5 hours, but if you got time, go ahead and watch it.
Well, I would say that if you want to learn about Docker and containerization and how Docker works, the Docker files, what they are, what they represent, and how we built what we built and how we built what we are going to deploy in a bit more detail, I'm going to try to recap as much as possible to just give the people who weren't here yesterday a bit of an idea of what we did. So if you want to catch what you missed yesterday, you can just go back and watch. I think the first hour is the important stuff. We build the image from scratch. We go in, we fail, we iterate, we fail, we iterate. That's exactly how it goes because, I'll just say what I said yesterday. Even though it's an Node.js application, you have JavaScript, but it depends on a whole lot of different things, and those depend on a whole lot of different other things. And when it all combines, it's a whole mess of dependencies. And if you follow what we did yesterday, it's how you go about, iteratively creating the build environment that you usually have on your own machine, but in a completely isolated way. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
it's up there. I sent you guys the link in the chat. If you want to check it out, you're good to go. All right, so let's get back to this. We can see that Yarn build actually finished. So Blitz Next.js managed to build, compile, transpile, wrap up, package everything that we have into a production ready package. So let's try running yarn start. Now the difference with yarn dev is that yarn start is requiring to have this folder here, the .next, because this is pretty much what we are going to be deploying.
Okay, right? That's new to me. So, well, not new, but I'm just seeing it now. So it relies on the .blitz and the .next folders being there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So technically, it shouldn't need any of your source files, right?
We only need that package right there.
Okay, so that gave me an idea of what we can do a little bit later to improve our Docker file, because right now it's a bit stupid and it's a bit presumptuous on what we want to do and how we want to build our application. So that gave me an interesting idea to showcase some stuff a bit later on.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so we can see that the app is still running if I refresh, but let's just try to log out and log back in. Okay, there we go, and pay attention to this. I'm going to navigate the sidebar and you'll see how fast everything is in production. You see that? It is instantaneous because everything is already compiled. Everything is already built. When we are in development mode, we want to be able to see the changes that we're doing immediately, and that's why Blitz doesn't actually build everything from the start, because in development mode you are supposed to change things, right? And we don't want to waste time rebuilding the whole app and then checking the changes that we made later on. But in production builds, you're not supposed to change stuff. So there is no hot reloading or everything. Everything is pre-built and it's ready to be rendered on the site, and that's why we have these speeds, right? So if you're developing an app and you're in development mode, that is not the end performance that you're going to see. It can only get better.
Yeah, and also that's also due to the optimizations that the build process does, and which is probably why it just stopped working yesterday, because there's a lot of differences between development and production. So it just doesn't do as many optimizations as it would for production, because those are slow. They require time to basically just find out where where you include different ECMAScript modules, and just it does this thing called code splitting, which can basically just separate out the different JavaScript files, so you don't actually load the whole thing at once, because with all of the different dependencies, it can be quite large if you just bundle it into one file. But if you open up the folder, you can see that it's split into a bunch of different chunks, and that's a process that takes quite a bit of time. So and if you open that up, it's going to be probably minified and garbled up, so that it takes as little space as possible. It's probably it's only one line. As you can see, there are no line numbers. It's just so we take up as little bandwidth when transferring this as possible, because bandwidth costs money. All the variables are replaced with single letters where possible, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So Ilya, as you can see, we can now confirm that the app runs in production mode locally on my machine. So let's try to wrap it up now, since we have it working, since we have everything set up.
Yep. Yeah, I guess so. If it doesn't work, I'm going to continue blaming you, and it's going to be your fault. You have to stay up all night and fix your stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I wouldn't do, but hey.
Yeah.
Let's give it a go.
Oh, crap. Wait, I need to sign into Visual Studio Code, because it's crapping out about giving me permissions for the terminal. So give me 1 second. I have to reconnect. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So, I think I have your terminal now. Give me permissions, man.
Okay.
Okay. So I should have access to this, and if you remember from yesterday, the good old right-click refresh on the desktop is the docker ps command, where we can actually check what's running on Lazar's computer right now, and that's nothing, so that's good. So let's just see if our build from yesterday works. I see that you've kept the Docker file and the Docker compose file.
Mm-hmm.
So I am just going to give you guys, I don't know if there are any new guys here, but I'm just going to give a quick recap of what Docker is and what this Docker file is, and I'm going to try to keep it under 5 minutes. It's going to be a quick crash course on that. If you want, you can just go ahead and open the link in the chat that was reposted, and get your about 1 hour explanation that I made yesterday on the topic. So yeah, let's go. So basically, what Docker is a way to isolate the environment that your application needs to run. What that means is you can specify a whole operating environment that includes, like, start from a clean Linux install, and then install Node.js, and then install this, and then install this dependency and that dependency, and copy my source code into this directory, and all of that good stuff, up until the point that you can reasonably start your application. So, and that's done in code. That's the really clear feature of Docker, is that all of this stuff is defined in code. So you can put it in Git, version it, and for every commit your application has, every version that you have of your application, it's going to be right there in the repository. It's going to be just another file that rather than describing some algorithm or some code that does something. It's just going to be a description of what your application needs to run. And it's not only that, it's also a recipe that you can use to actually build your to build this environment and use it and deploy it and all of that stuff. And the cool thing about this is, as I said start from clean Ubuntu install and then install this and that. The cool thing is you can specify all of these steps for the recipe, and then you can wrap that up, package it, and push it into what's called a Docker registry. And then anyone else in the world can take your basic recipe and build on top of it. So if you look at this Docker file that we have opened, at least I hope it's opened and you can see it on the stream, you will see that the first line is just a from. So what the Docker file is, it's just a recipe, as I mentioned. And the first line basically says start from this. And what this is a node image. So someone started to build an environment that only has Node in it. It has the basic operating system and it has Node.js installed. In this case, this thing on the right after the colon is what's called a tag. So we need the Node.js image, and we're using the 12-Alpine version of it. So yeah, someone made the recipe, installed Node 12, and they called it Node, and they gave it a tag Node 12-Alpine, which means that it's Node.js 12, and it's based on this micro Linux distribution that's called Alpine. It's like 25 megabytes, the whole thing, and it's very simple to use, very small, and only includes what's necessary. And that's the beginning of the recipe. Then we say start from Node.js. Then we're going to say switch to the directory app, and this, if it doesn't exist, is going to create it. Then in the next step, it's going to copy all of the files that are in the current directory. And once it does that, it's going to do so by also respecting a file that's called dockerignore. So if you know Git, you know that there's this file called gitignore, which basically helps you maintain a list of patterns of file names that we can use to just say, these files I don't want to commit into my repository. Like, for example, the Node.js dependencies, which go into Node modules. That's quite a large folder, and it can be tons of gigabytes, just useless data that we can, fetch the freshest versions by just running npm install. So
I have a question, sorry.
Same thing. Sorry?
We have a question if you want to answer it. And it's a good question. It's from Algebra97. If you want to add an Nginx server, do we need to put the Nginx image on the place of Node 12-Alpine?
Yeah, either that. It depends on why you would need to run an Nginx image. If you just want to, if you want to just serve some static files, you can just use the existing Nginx image and just, as I mentioned yesterday, I explained what a volume is. You can just mount a volume. I'll come back to that. But yeah, you can just say here, you can just say from Nginx, and then you can add, again, your whole, if you have, for example, a React application, you would start from Nginx because you don't need Node.js to run React. It's just a front-end library, it runs in the browser. You just need something to serve your index.html and JS files. So you would say just add whatever my build output is and add it into user share, Nginx HTML or something like that. Whatever the Nginx image is configured to serve files from. And yeah, awesome. You would probably...
This is for static sites, pre-built.
Yeah, and you can also customize, the Nginx configurations. For those who don't know what Algebra is referring to, Nginx is like, it's an HTTP server. Its job is to basically just serve files, or it has these cool features like reverse proxying. So it can act as a middleman between the client and your servers. So if you have like a bunch of different applications hosted on your server, you can just put Nginx there, so it can, your applications run on a bunch of different ports. So like Lazar's application runs on 3000, and then I don't know, some other application runs on 8080, and I want to put these on the same server. So how do I do that? I put this Nginx server, and it basically just it itself runs on port 80 and 443 for HTTPS, and it intercepts all of the requests and just passes them on to the
process, the running process, I guess.
Appropriate server. To the appropriate port. It can also proxy between completely different machines. So yeah, that's it's a very cool piece of software. It's very fast. It's very efficient. I guess we could do some other stream where I go into the more general architecture and how that works. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent, but if you wanna look at the yesterday's stream, we also create an Nginx config there for the Nginx server that we have set up on our server, and I'll probably show that afterwards as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's dig in.
I am very sorry about the tangent. Hopefully, I didn't confuse you guys too much. But if you guys have any other questions, just feel free to interrupt me. And where were we? So we started from Node.js Alpine. We set our working directory to /app. We added our source code, meanwhile ignoring all of the unnecessary folders and all of the unnecessary files. And this is the key part here, because yesterday we got to this by trial and error, because when you run npm install, it's JavaScript, but it installs a bunch of different dependencies which rely on some build tools to exist on the system, like GCC, these native dependencies that you see C++ code, so they can be fast. And we had to install all of these in order for the npm install to succeed. And afterwards, we are running the build. This is what was failing yesterday, and this should be okay now, right, Lazar?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah,
we can confirm that it works locally.
We will.
Let's see if it runs within the container.
Yeah, just one more thing before that. Is this still the same command that we need to do to migrate to run the migrate?
Let me just confirm that I added the package. Sorry.
The Prisma?
Yeah, the Prisma package. There we go. Still the same version as the CLI as the client, 2.19. So we should be good. This will work, because if you don't add it into your package JSON, it will fail, saying that it cannot find the Prisma module. So that's what we also learned yesterday.
Yeah. So it's a learning process. Little by little, you go ahead and you try it. It fails. Try it and fail. So let's try the build now. Let's see.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
If we are going to test this locally, then we can proceed. But if we are to deploy this image now on our company server, I need to inform you that I hard-coded the callback URL of the login strategy to point to localhost always.
No. You should just get that from just put in process.m. Something like Google_ callback URL or something like that.
Okay.
And we can just make that configurable. Yeah.
Process.env.google
callback
URL.
Back in you just do that, and
there we go. So we are going to define an environment variable called Google auth callback URL, and this includes the protocol and everything. So we can basically inject this from Docker Compose from anywhere, right? So when we are going to run this on the server, we are going to set the Google authentication callback URL to point to daysoff.codecamp.com. when we are running this locally, we're going to make it point to localhost 3000. So that's the beauty of it. And if this doesn't exist, right, locally, I think we should add a little fallback, right? Because right now I don't have this callback URL defined. And if we do yarn def, we should see an error saying undefined /API/auth/Google/callback is non-existent. So we do need to provide a fallback just for development purposes. Okay, so let's just confirm that it fails.
Yeah, I'm back, by the way.
So let's hit login.
Yo, can you hear me?
URI. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
So it doesn't let us because the request is from localhost, right? But the callback URL is /undefined/API/auth, as you guys can see. So why don't we add a little fallback? Add a little fallback to it. So let's just reload and try again. All right, we can see the accounts page and we are back in, right? So we don't need to do anything left, basically. The fallback is always on localhost, but within our Docker compose file, we are going to set the Google authentication callback URL to point to whatever we want in whatever situation we are. So this is good. Okay, Ilya, you can continue now.
Yeah, okay. So we should... Okay, let me just save the Docker file here that I made. I just removed the comment previously. So
okay.
I'm just going to be running the Docker build command. And what this is going to do is going to take this Docker file recipe, as I called it, and it's going to just run all of the steps and just produce this this environment that we specify here as this thing called Docker image, which we can use and spin up containers. You can think of this the Docker image as a class in object-oriented programming, and the container as an instance of that class. So yeah, if we follow that analogy, this is the definition of what the environment will have, and once we actually run the container, it's going to be an instance of that type, and we can, make changes, but it's only going to be for that object. It's not going to be for all other objects. I hope that that analogy works for you guys. And I'm just going to put in this -t argument just specifies the name, and the name, when we actually want to push the image into a registry, it has to contain the domain as well.
Okay, so the T stands for tag, right?
Yeah, it's just a tag, and in our case, the tag contains our self-hosted Docker registry. This Docker code.com contains all of the different images that we have as a company, and
awesome.
Yeah, so they are private, and we can host whatever we want there without rate limits by Docker Hub and all of that stuff. And we're just going to put this here, and we're going to say the last argument is just a dot, which sets what's called a build context. So you see here on line 5, we add dot to dot, and the dot on the left is this build context here. If I pass in another path here, it's going to be that. If I don't, it's going to be the current working directory, which is our source code repository. And the dot on the right is, of course, the working directory, which we said in the previous line.
Yeah, within the image.
Yeah. So this is on the host, and this is on the inside of the image that we're currently building. And if I just let this run And if you fixed everything, this should hopefully compile. It should install everything that we need, and it should build everything. And
All
then
right.
we should be
Let's
able
see.
to run it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot so I don't derail while I'm talking about something else, like I did the last time. Yeah, so this can take a little bit of time because it's, as we mentioned, it builds a couple of different native modules, and it takes a bit of time, but I'll just grab some more tea and we'll be fine.
Awesome.
Lazar, what do you think about, if we have some spare time, what do you think about adding some, support for the environment variable that specifies the admin emails?
Oh, of course, I mean, that would do is super cool, David asked, hey, are you using the final form? Are you using final form with Blitz? No, we're not using final form. Not sure we actually are using any forms. Let me check.
No. It's it's yet another state management library for React. I just googled that.
the final form?
Yeah, it's React final form, and it's another state management library for React. Yet another one.
Yeah.
If you want to learn another one.
Right, no, David, yeah, we're just using the React hook form. Yeah, this is what I got used to, but I am open to suggestions. If you think that the final form is better than the hook form in any way, let me know, let's get better.
Yeah. It should be interesting to take a look at in any case.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see the beautiful output of the C++ compiler just going at it.
Salsa.
Salsa? Yeah, sodium and salsa.
David says it's the default one for Blitz, or at least the recommended, but it doesn't work with Chakra UI's inputs. Yeah, I don't know. I think I found. Let's just. So yeah, I'll make the switch to React hook forms. Maybe. Yeah, you should check it out. I mean, if you go on Chakra UI's website, there was a guide using the React hook form. Right? There's a code sandbox ready for you to dig in and to see, and you can see how to hook up, the hook form with Chakra UI's inputs. So it should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, you get it. All right, we are at the npm run build process. So npm install finished. Let's see if this thing builds now.
It's compiled, and we need to see this thing actually work now. Okay. Fingers crossed.
Algebra says, I'm such a newbie at React. Do you recommend hooks over Redux? Well, you can have both. Why not have both?
You usually have both.
Yeah.
Hooks are a more generic thing than Redux. Redux is just it's a state management library, whereas hooks are just a way to they are a way to use React. Use state is just one hook that provides simple state management in the component level. But I don't know if you can really compare that. Or are you asking about the form hooks?
No, I think he's asking if he should be using Redux with the map state to props and map dispatch to props, or use the provided hooks. Hooks in general. Please use hooks, man.
Yeah.
Please use hooks.
Yeah, it depends, but usually from what I've seen so far, the shift is going to functional components because they can be lot cleaner, and then there you have to use hooks.
Yeah.
But if you're asking about whether you should choose Redux or you should just call use state everywhere, I would say it depends, because and it depends on a lot of things, but mostly on how big and how complex and how interdependent your application is. So if you have a lot of global state, let's say, or shared state in a lot of places, then you should go with Redux. If not, you can probably just make use of just the hooks and the higher order components. So yeah.
And a fun fact, I am not actually using Redux in this app, not at all. I'm using the React query to actually cache the HTTP results that I get, and that's my little Redux. So I have no need of Redux really, but the app is still dynamic, right? David, after 2 years building production-grade apps with React, I've never used Redux a single time, thanks to Apollo. Yeah, yeah, you can easily get by it. And then Robert says you can use Redux and hooks at the same time, using the use selector to access the state and use dispatch to create dispatch for your actions. Exactly. So those are, for example, the use selector is a replacement for map state to props, and the use dispatch is a replacement for map dispatch to props. So you can have them within your functional app, and that's it.
Exactly. Yep. It's all very simple yet so complex. You have so many different hooks, so many different ways to access them, and every library exposes their own hooks. So
hooks all the way.
It's hooks all the way down.
Yeah. All right, guys.
While we're discussing this, the build succeeded. So
awesome.
Shall we try running it then? Let's see. So, and while we were talking about this, while I was explaining the build and the Docker file and the recipe and all of that stuff, I'm just going to go over this other type of recipe. So we had the Docker file, which was the recipe to describe the environment that your application needs to run. But your application probably needs some other separate applications in order to run as well, right? So your application probably needs a database. It needs, it could be just a front-end application, just a React application, and you could have the API as a completely separate service. And so while the Docker file describes what a single service looks like, what your application actually looks like, what it needs to run, and all of that stuff on its own, the Docker Compose file is one step above that, and it describes the services of your whole stack. Like, it describes your application, what configuration it needs to run, like the database URL, Google Client ID, Google Secret, the session key, all of the good stuff that your application actually needs to run. So, as we said, this describes the containers that will start from your image that you created. Like, if we go on with the object-oriented programming analogy, then this will basically just set the properties of your object instance to what they need to be. And it will also make sure that there are as many such instances as needed. And it will also connect them between the different containers themselves. So I'll just go over and explain what we have here. We just say this is going to use the Docker Compose syntax version 3. And then this is just something to tell Docker Compose what kind of syntax it should expect in the file below. And then we have, by the way, this is YAML. This is kind of like JSON, but white space sensitive. And you can probably see the pattern. This is an object which contains a key app, and the value of app is just another object. And this is just a key string, a key image, and the value of Absence Tracker Alpine. So it's just something like JSON. It's pretty much the same thing, just kind of looks cleaner without all of the, curly brackets and all of that stuff. So here we say we're going to have these services, and we start with our app. This is the service that's going to be called app, and it has an image, and the image property takes a tag. The tag is this thing we created here while building the image. And I think we're not going to need this anymore. This is the entry point, and we can use this to override what the Docker file itself has at the end. But we don't need this anymore, so I'm just going to delete that.
Yeah.
And so in our case, we have a dependency we need to describe. Like, we need to say our application container depends on the database container being up. So in this case, and this is how you specify an array in YAML. So yeah, we're just going to list all of the containers. In this case, it's only one that our application depends on, that they exist once our application container is created. So in this case, we just say it depends on the DB, and all of the values that we need to put here are the names of the services that we described. In this case, it's just DB, and we're going to get to that a bit later. So the ports is another list of strings. In this case, it's in the format of port number, colon, and another port number. I explained this yesterday, but just to recap, this is the port on the host, on the computer running the Docker, and this thing on the right side is the port on the application that is inside of the container. So whenever traffic comes to the port, we can just put this as 1, 2, 3, 4. And if traffic comes to 1, 2, 3, 4 on the outside, on the host, it's just going to get proxied. It's going to get passed as it gets received into the port 3000 on the inside.
Yeah.
And then we have the environment. Here we can specify environment variables, so that and this is a mechanism that applications use nowadays to just get configurations from this file. We basically just take these, and the application can then access them, like Lazar did with where was it, with process.env. Like, let's say Google client ID or Google alt callback URL and all of that stuff. And we specify those, and then our application, once it starts, it can access them.
Awesome. So we can define the new variable here, right?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do that, just so we don't forget. And we're going to say Google alt callback URL, and this is going to be, I'll just copy this because for our local deployment, it's going to be localhost 3000 as well. I'm just going to put this in here. And that's it. That's everything, all of the configuration that our app needs in order to run. And then we describe the database service. So in this case, it's going to use the Postgre image, which is a ready-made image from Docker Hub, which we use without actually modifying. That's why we don't have a Docker file for that. We don't actually need to make any modifications. And we tell Docker to restart this container, to try to restart this container always. If it fails, if it crashes, or if we rebooted the computer and now it's the container is stopped, it will make sure to always get it started. And again, we have the ports. In this case, we specify that on the host 15432 is going to be mapped to the inside 5432. And then again, we have the environment variables, which we read yesterday from the documentation that we need to set, so that Postgre knows how to actually set up the necessary initialization for create the user and set the password and create the initial database and all of that good stuff. And then we also map a volume, which is just a dedicated folder on the host that's going to always be there. No matter how many times we kill or remove the Docker container, it's going to be writing on the host itself, so we don't lose our data. And we have to do this. we want to have persistent data with Docker. And that's just it. So
Awesome.
if we just change the tag, because I forgot about that yesterday, we just put in this new tag here, and if we just run, we just use the docker compose up command, this should get our whole stack, our database and our application up and running, except, yeah, so we forgot to actually remove the volumes from yesterday. So I'm just going to remove everything in Lazarus volume folder, and I'm just going to run the same command again.
Question, is it going to clash because I already have another PostgreSQL running on 5432? Should we close that?
Nope.
Don't need to close that. Okay.
Yeah, because this 5432 container is going to be inside of this isolated environment. It's not going to start on your own host computer. On your host computer, it's going to take up the port 15432, which is not the same as 5432 which you are running. So you can have as many database servers running on the same port in their own isolated environment, and then they don't care about each other.
Awesome. Okay.
So you see that our application actually crashed. So that's because it tried to connect to our database server, but it wasn't yet up because it was doing some initialization on all of that stuff, and so it crashed. So what we can do to just fix this, we know that our application database server is going to start eventually, so we can just put in restart always on this one as well. And that's just going to keep it crashing and keep it restarting until it gets gets a connection to the database server.
Because there might be a little lag, right?
Yeah, because even though the container is started, because this one just says this can only describe until the container starts, until the container itself boots up. But that doesn't mean that Postgre is ready to accept connections. That just means that, whoops, okay. That just basically means that, let's call it like the environment is ready and not much else. So, yeah, I see that this thing failed. It says could not find production build. You must run Blitz build before starting. Okay, so I'm going to actually debug this, and I'm going to do that by I'm going to run what we built. I'm going to run it. I'm going to run a new container, and I'm going to attach to it, and I'm also going to override the entry point. I just want to take a look inside it to see what's in there.
Okay.
And a lot from what I see here, it's I see the .blitz, but I don't see the .next. But maybe that's okay. Okay, so
I guess so. Yeah.
That should be okay. If I go into the Docker file, my entry point says Blitz Prisma migrate dev blah 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 and npm start. So let's try to npm start here and see what happens. It says
Blitz starts. Right, but can you open the package.json and let's see what the starts script is?
It's probably just Blitz start.
Because that's what it asks for, right?
Yeah, it's Blitz start.
Blitz start, yeah. So it should run Blitz start, but what? And it does run Blitz start, as you guys can see from here.
Okay.
You must run Blitz build, okay, but we did also run Blitz build, so that's weird.
So it's in here. We can see that. Oh wait, okay. Give me 1 second. So if we go into where are we? Dash app, okay. And in here we have. If we go into .blitz, right? If we go into build, Okay, and we have a package JSON here. So what if we run start in here?
Okay. Blitz is not found.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. So where does it look for the production build? It should be right here, right? So
Should be, yeah, because we don't, at least we don't have any overrides regarding the output destination when we're building it for production.
I'll just check your environment and see what's Blitz. It has build, it has caches, but we don't care about the caches. So
yeah.
And if I run here in npm start, it's going to run. Yeah. It did. Huh.
So that's weird.
Yeah, that is indeed weird. So why does it actually say that? Is it looking for a production? Maybe that's it. Or let's just run that again. Let's say node env is going to be development. Let's see if that has something to do with it. But I don't think it is. Nope. Okay, let's see npm run build. What is it going to do? If I run this inside the container and if I start it, then is it going to build? Is it going to recognize the build?
Within the container, right?
Yeah, within the container. Or maybe. So this is building, and then that should work. From what I can see, structure, yeah, generating static pages, and the build succeeded. So
let's try to run it now.
Let's see if there's anything different.
No, there we go.
What?
What?
So did something else happen during the build? Let's try to scroll up and see. I don't know if you can see me scrolling, but I'm trying to scroll up.
Nope.
Okay.
Can we try that again?
Until the docker build command, and I'm not seeing the whole printout for everything that's in there. Should we run that again? But it's going to take a while because for some reason your Docker installation doesn't like the caches.
So what you suggest is we try to rebuild the image again, right?
No, but let me see what's actually different here. So I'm just going to ls everything and listen to Blitz, see what's in there, build. To me, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like something changed. Did something change? Yeah, never mind.
Let's just check out the Blitz config file. Maybe there's something here.
I see a dot next here. I think it's somehow, I don't know, maybe Docker stopped it. Stopped the build before it actually completed or something like that. But that's very, very unusual, to say the least. Let me try to run the build again, the build.
Okay.
See what happens. Yeah, you can see it's running from scratch again. I don't understand why it's doing that, but you know, one other thing I would try. I would try to put this on Linux just to skip if there are any bugs with Docker on Mac or something like that. Because I can't think of anything else. It doesn't seem like it's building correctly, and I don't see any errors in the build. So I'm just going to let me interrupt this first, and git status. I'm just going to add all of your changes. I'm going to add this, the Docker ignore, the Docker file, the Docker compose file, and that's all I need, I think. And I'm just going to commit and add adding Docker stuff. That should be fine. And I'm gonna push this.
Okay. So you want to try on your machine?
No, maybe. Yeah, let's try on my machine. I'm just gonna clone the repository.
You want to do the screen sharing?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's try that.
But maybe we can just do it on the server instead.
Of course.
Yeah,
So
I think that would be better.
over to iTerm. All right, so I'm in the MOOC session here.
Okay, let me just find out which one it is. Because there are a couple of is this the one?
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, great. So we're just going to SSH into this one, into our VM, and I'm just going to clone. Is there an SSH key here? Nope. We're just gonna key again a simple SSH key. And Lazar, can you add this to your account on GitHub so that we can actually clone the repository?
Okay.
I'm just going to take your repository, I'm going to clone it there just so we don't spend any time debugging what we don't actually have to. And if it still doesn't work on the Linux machine, then we can go back to the Mac, I guess. But in this case, I think we're going to get a lot more valuable output than we're going to get on the Mac, because I feel like it does some additional terminal fluff. It outputs a few other things that it usually doesn't, so let's just go ahead and do that. Did you add the SSH key?
Yeah, can you try now?
Yeah.
I had to clean it up because MOOCs actually messed it up.
Okay, so I'm just gonna install Git because I don't have it, and crap, this actually is broken. So APK repositories. Give me 1 second, guys. So this, I think if we change the repository to this so that it works. Yeah, I added Git, and Git clone should now pass. Perfect.
Awesome.
Are we on master? Yeah, adding the Docker stuff. So if I run the same command that we did with Lazarus machine, this should quite possibly work. At least I hope. Or we are going to see a little bit better output than what we did. So it's going to probably be faster on this machine because it's running on Linux natively rather than in a VM as it does on Mac, which is what Lazar is using. So
awesome.
Yeah, this should be quite a bit faster.
Nice. But this would pretty much reflect on the same environment if we were to build a CI/CD, right? You would have a Linux server somewhere that will build your Docker image every time you have a new release or every time you merge into master, right? Or main.
And look, so the whole point of Docker is to have, the same reproducible environment everywhere you go. So if this is happening because of some Docker issue, then that's very unfortunate. But so I want to do this in here on the server because it gives us a more familiar environment in which we can debug this stuff and just remove this additional middleman that is Docker for Mac and see what actually is happening.
Okay. By the way, you have a question from Algebra. Can you run a Mac machine inside Docker?
No, you can't, because Docker is a Linux thing. It can't actually run anything other than Linux. Windows has some support for containers and process isolation, but other than that, not really. You can't run it on anything other than Linux.
Awesome.
So, yeah, who needs Windows, right? I agree with you, man. I'm running an Ubuntu distro in my VMware, in a VMware virtual machine, just because I can't stand Windows.
Except for games, yeah.
Except for games and stable drivers, because NVIDIA just doesn't like Linux, and I found constant freezes on Linux to be quite annoying. But in a VM, it works perfectly. Yeah.
Hey, what was that thing? I think was it like Steam or Unreal Engine? They tweeted out that they have like 80 or 90% of the most popular games working. They got them working for Ubuntu. It was really recently, like we're talking about days ago.
Yeah, Valve has this middle layer between graphics APIs like DirectX that are Windows only, and they have a translation layer in between. I think it's called like Photon, if I remember correctly. And this thing basically just translates Windows API calls into Linux, and they have it actually up and running for most games on Steam. So you can just use Steam to play Windows games on Linux, and it uses this Photon as a translation layer on top of that. So it's very, very interesting. Something like Wine, but I think it's far more performant, and Awesome. I haven't actually tried it. I've only tried Wine. Not the alcohol, the Windows translation layer. So now I just put it like I haven't tried Wine.
Algebra tried it with Counter-Strike Go. It runs great in Ubuntu.
But why Algebra? Why? Because CSGO has native support for Linux. Why would you do that? Okay, so that's the interesting part. You can see, Lazar, when we ran this thing on your machine, it had a bunch of other gibberish on top of this.
Yeah.
And here it seems to be much cleaner. So
awesome.
I hope this actually works. Let's see.
So we're creating an optimized production build at the moment. This is the step that we think somehow got skipped or not completed totally on my machine. So let's check it out on the server.
Yeah, so just so we are clear, this is not running on Lazar's machine. This is running on our company server, and we're just using Lazarus machines to SSH into it and just run a bunch of commands and have a nice clean environment to work in.
Awesome.
Even though the whole point of Docker is so it's a nice clean environment. Okay, so we see the whole output. We see the same thing that we did
Okay.
when we ran this thing on your machine inside of the container. So if I just do so I'm just gonna remove this Docker compose that we created yesterday because we don't need it anymore. We have the whole repository.
Yeah,
And
it's right here.
Edit this, and I'm going to put in the correct URL.
Okay.
I mean, this is just wishful thinking here, but you know,
Why not?
better be ready for it when it actually works. Haha.
Let's
And
check it out.
let me just see if I have anything. Okay, so I have these containers here, and I'm just going to remove all of these. C5.3 and or C5.
Okay.
There should be also a network, which we can also remove root default, which is a network. I'm just cleaning up from yesterday. So days off and Docker compose up.
Okay, let's see
what
this fly.
happens now.
Okay,
So
migrations. CLI generated it. Blitz start,
Oh,
there we go.
It started
It
the server.
actually started,
What
yeah.
the hell? Let's see. Days
Let's
off.
check it out.
.codecamp.com. Hey, it loads.
Oh, nice. All right, let's try to log in.
That man.
Oh,
Starting authentication with Google. It's not going to work.
it's not
It
going to
doesn't
work, yeah.
right?
Because
But I know why it doesn't. It's
Yeah.
HTTP. Okay, so let's fix that.
Okay,
It's
we can just change this into the Docker Compose, right? We don't need to rebuild anything.
Yeah, we can change it. So, but if I remember correctly, you also have to add the HTTP URL into the Google app registration. So you have to register your app and the domains that it
Okay.
has, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you probably don't have the HTTP version for the production URL. So what I am going to do is I am going to set up HTTPS for this application. So I'm just going to stop this, and we don't have to stop it like this. We can run it detached. We'll show you how later. So I'm just going to exit out of our VM, and I'm going to run certbot, and this is going to show me a list of all of the different sites that we have, and I'm going to hopefully find. Hang on. Clear, and let me I'll just see the command to just add the certificates manually. I'm just gonna look this up because I don't remember it. Give me 1 sec. There's a very handy dandy URL which describes the command that we need to run. And this, for those of you who don't know, certbot is a little a tool that Let's Encrypt, I don't know if you've heard of it, uses to set up and provision HTTPS SSL certificates.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can just run a command and get free SSL encryption. So that's really awesome.
All right, let's check it out then.
Yeah. Certainly Nginx. I think this is the correct command. I pasted a bunch of gibberish, and then I think I need to just add the domain like daysof.codecamp.com.
Nope.
It's lowercase d.
Okay.
So this is just going to obtain the certificate, and it should also automatically provision the certificate into our Nginx sites enabled days off. But it did not. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to do it myself. Yeah, because we said cert only. So if I just skip that argument, it should automatically install it. I'm just going to reinstall it in this case. So no redirect, and if we go into this file here, we can see that we automatically set up everything we need except one thing,
443.
which is the correct port. And I think we also need a few other things, which I'm just going to copy from another config that we have.
Okay.
Sorry guys, I think this certbot thing is actually a bit broken on.
Does it matter the indentation? Because if you go back to the daysof.conf file, you can see that the new strings, the new lines that the certbot actually added are indented differently than the ones that we wrote.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's not too white space sensitive. You can see it relies on brackets to actually do to determine what the indentation level, what the nesting level should be. And I copied this because for some reason certbot didn't, and we need this for some generic SSL configuration.
Okay.
I copied this from another config file which we have, and I'm just going to save this and reload the server.
Awesome.
And now we should have HTTPS up and running. Yep, and I can see the little green lock icon. And you can see it's a 502 gateway status. Yeah. So that's because our application is actually dead because
we stopped it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I just go in here and run docker compose up, but I pass in the D argument, it's actually going to start our stack in a completely detached way. So it's just going to tell me it's starting, and then I'm free to do whatever I want.
So now it's in the background, yeah.
If I want to see the logs, I just run docker compose logs. And I can also follow to see what's actually going on in real time. And
so it started, right?
Yeah, feel free to log in, it should work. To do the same myself. And it says
there we go.
Mismatch.
Again.
So what is wrong here? It says... Okay, Lazar, did you forget to add this URL into the Google application? I think that's what's missing here.
I am not sure, but let me try.
So I think Lazar actually forgot to register. So when we actually set up Google authentication, when you actually set up Google authentication, you register your application there. So you say, this is my application. It has these domains. It needs all this and this and this. It needs the full name, the email, and all of the different stuff. And this information is used by Google to determine if the origin of the request is authentic and if it should allow the login to continue, because that's going to, of course, expose the your personal information to the application and the server that's on that endpoint. So we need to add the redirect URL so that it's valid and it works when we start our server. And once we do that, it should work. Finally, it should work properly. And Algebra says you need a certification. That's probably a joke, but I'm going to go with it. You don't need a certification, you need a certificate, which is basically like a certification not for you, but for your server, which verifies that your server is who it says it is.
Right.
And voila, as you would say, you're cooking something. Our application is finally in production. I am very happy. I know that you are, Lazar, and we just have,
Look at it fly. It flies.
Yep. I'm just gonna log in again.
All right, we need to go get ourselves an admin roles now.
Yep. So I'm
Awesome.
just gonna stop the logs. You can just switch to my switch to the terminal so the guys can see what I'm doing.
Awesome.
And I'm just going to do this manually because we're deploying alpha software into production. Blah blah blah. We're just going to do some stuff manually. We're going to do a Docker exec. We're going to attach to the existing container of our database. We're going to run the PSQL command, which is the SQL client, and we're going to say the username is going to be Postgre. And we are in. So I'm just going to connect to the DaySoft database,
Okay.
list the tables, we're in the right place, and I'm just going to say update user,
As a
and I have
string.
quote marks, lessons learned from yesterday because I
Yeah,
forgot.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to say what? Role equals admin, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Role equals admin, but where
Mm-hmm.
where email without the name.
Equals. Yeah, it's my email.
Is it capitalized?
Nope. It's all lowercase.
Email equals lazar@karicha.com. Is this correct?
Yeah.
And we need set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's check it out.
Just try, log out, log in again. Let's see if we did it finally.
Admin. Okay.
You're
Yeah,
admin.
we're in, guys. Check it out. All right, it fails here. I need to fix that. But it fails because we don't have the... No, we have no... Sorry, let me just go easy on your eyes. We don't have any absence types or tracking periods, so let's just try adding some. So I'm gonna go sick leave, right, vacation, and just days off. It's like a general leave, right? And let's just define a period real quick. So we have like an additional, like a basic data setup. Let's hit save, and now if we go to request a leave, we can see that we can see the we can request.
Hey, I
Awesome.
suddenly have 20 days left, so I can
Yeah.
take a vacation after all of this stuff, after all of this BS.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Andre, welcome. You can just take a vacation now, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
For those who don't know, Andre is our new colleague here at CodeCamp, so welcome
New guy.
officially on the stream as well. New guy. Hope you're enjoying this and hope you learn something from it. Yeah. Feel free to take a vacation now, man.
All right, created. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead, guys. You too, Ilya. Let's just try to create a few requests now. Then you guys let me know when
So
you guys
I'm going
create something.
I'm going to take Friday off, and now that I see this, okay, but never mind. Okay, we could enhance it with some stuff like that's not specific to leave, but maybe if we want to track something else, like maybe work from home days or something like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think that's a cool feature request because I was just thinking about taking Friday or Thursday to work from home this week, and it would be nice if I could just add that in here as well because we still
Right.
use the Discord channel for that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's a great idea.
Hey, Andre, Docker is easy when it works, and obviously there is some sort of bug on Mac or we missed something. I think we should go back and try that, but let's leave that for the end of the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you,
So go
Robert.
ahead,
Have
guys.
a nice evening, man, and enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
Thanks
thanks for
for-
stopping by, Rock.
Yeah.
Guys, are you
So-
gonna create requests? So I wanna
Sorry,
see
man.
them right here.
I got stuck here on the. I got stuck in my explanation of the feature request.
Yeah.
Just client things and let's see. Okay, one other thing that I see here, you need to close this form because I can just spam the request leaves.
Ah, right, yeah.
I just requested like 5 days.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh,
Streamer
hey,
exhaustion.
the other Andre.
And the other Andre's here, yeah. Hey man, how's it going? Alright, so there we go. There we go. Let's accept one of these for Ilya.
Yep.
And just decline these and call them duplicates. So decline this.
Okay. Okay, this is something I haven't seen because I haven't been watching you as much as I should have. So.
Yeah. Let's just accept mine as well. So there we go. If we go back to the dashboard, we can see the table now. Okay, we got these days. It's a vacation. 3 of them, right? And what time did I request this leave? So it does have sorting as well, but because we only have one vacation requested, we cannot actually see that. But all right, cool.
Yep. Okay, this looks awesome, by the way. Nice job on the UI and all of that stuff. So
thanks, man.
it's pretty cool.
So check this out. I can make Ilya the admin now.
Oh, you have that as well. Nice.
Awesome. Now you need to log out and re-log in to give you a new session.
Yep.
That session will be an admin session, and you let me know if it works.
Yes, it did. And guys, don't kill me, but I actually like the bright team more than the dark team.
This one?
Yeah.
it has more vibrant colors.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I'm not one of those, dark versus light teams. I prefer to use a light team in a light environment and a dark team in a dark environment. I think that suits my eyes better than just trying to see what's on the screen in a bright environment with a dark team.
By the way, Costa says do not make Ilya an admin.
Yeah, he'll break stuff. He'll take the whole year as a vacation.
Alright, awesome guys. This is so cool.
Yeah, we got this up.
So cool.
And so, what do you say we go back into the Docker file and do some improvements? Because and I'm going to keep doing this on the server. Hope you guys don't mind. Just so we're clear, in order to run this application, we only need this Docker compose file now. And I'm going to remove this near the end of the stream, like in, I don't know, soon. Once I do these couple of changes, I'm going to remove everything, just so you see that we don't need anything else, any of the source code. It's all bundled into the Docker image. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go into the Docker file, and this is just a text editor.
Wait a minute. You are in the server, right? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were in Visual Studio.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and edit the file. This is just a text editor. Just imagine that I'm using Visual Studio Code, and don't worry about it. So from what I saw, in the container we have a .blitz folder, and inside it we have a build folder, and that contains only the build stuff. And we can probably just use that in order to run our application. So let's see Docker image ls. Okay. And you can see that it's 1.5 gigabytes.
Oh, damn.
So I'm just going to look up Blitz.js. And I'm going to open up the documentation because I have no idea how it works and all of that stuff. So I'm going to open the documentation. I'm just going to find the build information. And I'm going to open up... Just one moment. Where is it? .next. So, Lazar, do you know what Blitz.js actually needs?
I think only the... Yeah, I think only the .blitz, but Not sure. Let me.
What about dependency-wise?
Let's check this out, because this is a GitHub issue. It's not really an issue. It's more like a discussion where people talk about their Docker configurations.
Yeah, so let's see what they did. And I'm lagging behind, but also your screen is really zoomed out and I can't read anything on it, so... yeah, okay. So what do? They pretty much do the same thing we do, except they copy the node modules folder. Yeah, I was hoping to avoid that. I was going to just copy the .next and the .build folder and just, ignore everything else.
Yeah.
But it seems like we can't do that, and I'm not sure how much we would actually save by doing this. So
okay,
let's just try that. So
well, yeah, but as you can see, what we're actually doing, I mean, what this guy is doing is copying up the .next into the image, and then also copying the package JSON without, if we ignore the node modules. But there's another configuration below.
Yeah.
So let's just scroll down to it and check it out.
It's the same thing.
Okay, so package JSON, node modules, public, .blitz and .next.
Yeah. So those are everything that we need to run Blitz.js in production. Okay. Do you want to do this and I don't know, fiddle with this, or do you just want to I don't know, add the admin support or something like that, or
Maybe we should leave the admin support for a different day. If we can just slim down the Docker image, and just say, okay, we are done here, that would be super cool.
Okay, so let's go with that then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Docker file. So you should just focus the terminal. Okay, you did. I'm just going to add another from here. I'm going to say from node 12-slim. I think this should be okay. So let's do that. And if we have another from, this will basically just start a whole new recipe, a whole new image. And then we can just go up here and put in an as, I think that's the syntax for it, as keyword. And then we can just call this build environment. Okay. And so now I should be able to just in here, once we actually start from a new environment, I'm going to put in another word there as /app into this new one. Final build.
Nice.
Actually, final bundle, let's call it.
Yeah.
We're going to start from scratch, and we're going to copy stuff. And where are we going to
be the previous one? Yeah.
From was this? Let me just see the syntax. I don't remember this stuff. This is what's called a multi-stage build. So in the first stage, we run the build and all of that good stuff, and that can produce a bunch of unnecessary files. So what we're going to be doing now is we're just going to be taking exactly what we need from the build environment into the production bundle that we need, and we're just going to be using exactly what we need from it. Lazar, can you full screen the terminal, because it's I can see as much as you can see. So that's how Tmux works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought to leave the comment, the documentation on there. Okay.
That's fine. From equals build env, and we're going to copy what? We're going to be copying the
package
/app/.next, right?
Okay. Yeah.
In here.
into the /app, right?
Yeah, so we're copying from the build environment. We're copying the .next folder into this current folder, which is again the /app, but in the actual final bundle.
Right.
And we're also going to need to copy the what? We're going to need to copy the dependencies, the already installed dependencies. So that's node modules. We're going to need to copy that, and we're going to need to copy. Modules. Modules and
Blitz.
JSON, and what else?
The Blitz.
I think we don't need that actually, because I didn't see anyone else copy it from the GitHub thread you opened. You know?
No, it's here.
It's there. Okay.
Yeah,
Then
and also public if you have any, if you're hosting any public stuff.
Yeah, let's do that. And okay.
But also the Blitz config.js, that's also being carried out into the final bundle.
Okay, let's copy that as well.
Yep.
That's going to be blitz.config.js instead of JSON, and that should be.
I guess that's it. Yeah.
And the entry point is just npm start. I see they are not running any migrations here. But I'm just going to keep this as is.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we want to run the migrations. The rest should be exactly the same. So let's run that Docker build again.
Okay.
And the exact same command. It should now use the cache, unlike your computer.
Yeah.
Screw me. Okay, never mind. Apparently, I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind. I think it actually sees that some files are changing and then just ignores everything and just starts from scratch.
Might be.
Okay. So while we wait for this to finish building, I'm just going to go over everything and check if I missed something. I'm going to look up what the node slim Docker image actually includes. So the big benefit that I actually am ignoring here of doing it like this is you remember when we were building, and what you're seeing now, this whole Python thing, the make, G++, all of that, C++ dependency BS, which we need to just compile all of the dependencies. And that's huge. It includes a whole bunch of, the standard library for C++, all of the other dependencies, the whole Python distribution, and all of its, dependencies. So that's all a bunch of stuff that we don't need just to run our application. That's the stuff that we need to build our application. And then we can just add all of that and get rid of all of that dead weight.
Yeah.
And just have a slimmed down version of our final application distribution image. So if everything goes well here, and it should go well, as you know, everything has been going super well so far these past 2 days, we should have a much slimmed down version. It should be still, I don't know, I expect it to still be big, but not 2 gigs big. So it should be like, I'm expecting around 700 megabytes or something like that. Okay. You have a new follower.
Yeah, thanks for the follow, Daisho Arc.
I hope you guys are enjoying the stream and I'm not boring you with all of these, details. But if I'm saying anything that doesn't make sense to you or just in general, just feel free to interrupt me, post a chat message, ask away, and derail me into the other topic that I'm sure to go on about. We have.
Check this out.
Yeah.
Ben Jick posted his own Docker file, and he claims that the blank Blitz installation that comes out of this Docker file is 283 megabytes.
Okay.
That is drastically different than 1.5. gigabyte.
Yeah,
So let's check this out, man.
it's still building. It's still building. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or about any topic really, so if you want to just ask anything about React, about Docker, about Blitz.js, about anything else, just feel free to shoot. I don't know if you want to give some negative criticism about the stream, about what we're doing wrong, if it sucks, if you're bored, or if we talk too much, or anything like that. Just feel free to give us any inconstructive criticism. I think that's how we're going to improve, and both in the workflow and in the streaming process.
Yeah.
Sidorian. No. It's exactly easy to ask questions because you can ask anything that you don't understand, and you can learn about it. Because if you're a pro in Docker, you don't have to ask a question. You probably already know all of this stuff. So
yeah, there's no wrong questions, man.
Exactly. There are no wrong questions. You can ask anything. It's a valid question. The difference between, I don't know, you, a beginner, or someone who has experience with Docker is just the amount of time you've spent, failing at something and improving upon it and reading about it.
That's a good one.
Stupid question.
The difference between a newbie and a pro is the amount of time failing at it.
Yeah, I think that's how I would put it.
Nice.
Because at least for me, a lot of the niche issues that I have experience with is and I have a lot of solutions about a lot of BS issues that probably not many people have, because it's mostly because I've failed and I've gotten stuck at a lot of different things, and I've come out of that knowing more and learning from it, because you're going to fail anyways. You're going to get stuck. You're going to put yourself against the wall. But the important thing is just don't give up, and look up the issue. Someone probably already has it. If you don't be afraid to ask for help or pick someone's brain about it. Feel free to just make conversation with people, ask away, interact with the community. And I don't know if we have that environment here in Macedonia and the ways that we have it, but I hope that we do, and I hope that we try to improve that. I don't know. I like that Lazar started these streams. I think it's a very nice way to share knowledge and improve. And I hope this triggers a bit of a movement in the community in Macedonia.
Yeah, that would be cool. If some other developers from Macedonia start streaming and stuff, that would be super cool to see. By the way, Algebra, if we add a new functionality, how can we update the image? Do we need to build it again?
Okay, so Algebra. First, I'll tackle your question. So every image is completely different. Like if you want to do an update, you build a new image with your latest changes, and that's a new version of it. So afterwards, you basically shut down the old container and you start a new one with the new version of your image. So it basically restarts. It uses the same database, and if it has some database changes, it's going to run the migrations and all of that stuff, and you're good to go. So that way you also have native versioning. So you have the different images, they're independent from each other, they're completely unrelated. And you can use that to just keep older versions intact and use them. So even if like 10 years pass by and you have the Docker image, you probably will still be able to run it because you wrote the Docker file for it. You have the self-contained Docker image of the whole environment, so you also have the compatibilities for the future. And for who is that? It. For Docker, I am not actually sure about any tutorials to recommend, but I would go on Pluralsight, just find a course there and get started that way. And if you have some experience with software development, or if you can start a server in Node.js or whatever else, I would start with just reading the documentation, trying to learn from that, from the guides that Docker already has. Medium has also a lot of resources about from different people who have tried and have done Dockerization of different apps. So if you have an Node.js application, you want to actually put it in Docker, you can look up how to do that and just see how someone already did it. But of course, as Costa or Codecam just said, read the docs is the most important part. And I can tell you that the ability to read documentation is a very, very important trait for a software developer. And I think the ability to look up information that you need and the ability to find it and the patience to read through the documentation is also really, really important. And it's also surprisingly rare. So I think if you spend time to work on that, it's a good way to differentiate yourself. So our image is cooked. As Kalchen mentioned, we are cooking the image, a new and improved one. And if I just do docker compose up again, -d, it should recreate my application and it should be with the new version. So if we do a docker image ls, we can see that our image is now 984 megabytes. So that's a huge improvement from the last time. And let's actually see if it's actually running. I'm just gonna go docker compose logs -f and see the logs. Okay, so that's just the logs from my SQL state earlier. And let's see if it actually works.
No scrolling.
Days-of.codecam.com. It seems to be down actually. And let's see why. Docker compose logs up. Is it exiting or? Let's see what actually is happening here. And I'm getting nothing actually. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to try to run the container manually this time.
Okay.
I'm going to docker run -it. And let's see what this is going to do. Why is
install?
That? Yeah, what is it doing? What the hell? I think we missed something. Maybe the entry point is wrong. Let me just see what they actually did.
Yeah, it's still installing the... Damn.
Okay, so the entry point
migrates. Okay, and then npm starts. Oh, wait a minute. Dude, I mean, we're running Prisma migrate, but Prisma is not being shipped.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Or is it? No,
but
we are
should
actually
be
shipping it.
Node modules, right?
It's within the Node modules, yeah, but I'm not sure why it's installing the stuff, right? Sadorian asks, Lazar, do you have any plans for upcoming stream topics? Yeah, I do have some, and big ones.
Lazar is cooking up something big, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a big lunch. Yeah, you guys, gave me some really positive feedback about having a guest here, and I was thinking to actually start a new pet project like this one from scratch where I will try to bring in as much as guests to it as I can. For example, we'll have, and it's going to be from zero to hero again. I didn't do that this time. I started streaming a bit later on after I started this project, but for the next project I'm going to start from the whole beginning, right? Even from the actual planning phase. So we're going to do some planning, maybe do some user stories. We can then do some database design. We can do the UI design, the coding, the CI, the CD, Dockerization, and again of the project, and start doing that with open source in mind, even from the beginning. Because I also received a lot of requests to actually open source, yeah, to open source this project. So yeah, I'm going to be bringing a lot of guests, or at least I'll try if they accept, right? Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Oh man,
I'm not sure. I can see.
Yo.
I'll see. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I know what we screwed up. The paths. The paths. We screwed up the paths.
The paths. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I'm just going to copy the entry point because I screwed it up. Where is the entry point? Yeah, here it is. I'm just going to copy this.
Ah, Caltrin asks about the mobile version of the app. That's cool. Why don't you try to build it in Flutter? See what you can come up with.
Yo, Lazar, I just want to tell you, man, we screwed up. We need to, if I just put in the dot on the right side,
okay,
it's just going to copy all of the contents inside of .next.
Oh, right. So it just dumps everything into one place.
Yeah. So
okay, that makes sense.
And also we need Blitz config.js. I'm just gonna that should be fine actually, and .blitz and public, and I'm just going to replace this with what we previously had.
Yeah, with the Prisma. Yeah.
Because that's obviously not the issue. So I'm going to run a Docker build here, and while this does, I'm going to also be AFK for exactly 1 minute, hopefully. Be right back.
All right. Yeah, mobile version. I don't plan on doing anything mobile, because I don't know. It's also good if I don't do everything myself, right? So you guys have an opportunity to jump in. Would you like to start doing something, to start hacking something up? Either in Flutter or React Native. I do like to see some stuff being made in React Native within our company. And you know, projects like these are a great opportunity to do so, right? So we could try to do something, but that would be on you know, that would be, at least for me, off the camera, right? Because I'm more looking forward to starting the next project. But yeah, you can jump in, you can take this project, and you can even stream it on Twitch. Why not? So yeah, I'm more looking into starting the next project that I'd like to start stream and open source, and you know, just do everything from zero. And my plan is to actually stream the whole thing, right? The 100% of the development and the design and planning and everything. So I will try to, right? Sometimes, I don't know, I could bore you guys with bug fixes and stuff like that, because it happens, right? But I'm going to try to spend as less minutes working on the next projects of the camera as I can. So that would be fun. And yeah, Sidorian. Yeah, the same tech stack, definitely. I could try something with plain Next.js and SWR, Style Value Validate, but it's going to be within the Next.js ecosystem because I really dig that.
Yeah, you know, I had my doubts about Next.js, but I think I'm beginning to, you know, get used to it, and I am beginning to like it actually. Both Next.js and React. You know, I usually prefer Angular when it comes to getting something up and running, and getting something up and running in a, let's say, cleaner matter, where we have a specific architecture in mind, something that's well defined. But yeah, the flexibility of React and the vastness of the ecosystem cannot be denied, and it cannot be ignored. So yeah, I like the direction it's taking.
Carlton is camera shy.
You'll get used to it, man. It's not that big of a deal. You'll be camera shy for like 10 minutes, and then you'll get used to it. You remember you and me did a live stream like 2 years ago, so you're not that camera shy.
Oh, you did a live stream. When was that?
On the job fair, I think.
Ah, right.
It's on Facebook. It's still on Facebook.
That is a live stream, right?
Yeah. It's not Twitch, but it's a live stream.
Yeah. It's a different platform, so.
Yeah, and that went about as well as this one. Yeah, but you know, we failed, we recovered. It all worked out in the end.
Awesome. All right, so I guess npm install finished.
I really hope this actually works now, because it takes a long time to actually work, to build. You forgot about it. Okay. So, by the way, I'm watching the stream and I'm watching myself from the past like 5 seconds, so it's a very interesting experience. And if this works, we should be good to go, and we should have a lighter. From what we saw, it was like 700 megs less than the previous one.
Yeah.
Now hopefully it will work. That's the key thing. So we can all go to bed happy and satisfied that we actually built and put something into production. And we did it in an optimal manner. Not exactly optimal, but it's as good as we can do it in like 6 hours of streaming.
Yeah, I mean, it also makes the cut, so.
Yeah, we already have something. We did it. We put it in production. Now we're just putting the cherry on top and doing some optimizations as you would if you were to actually put this thing in production. And it's compiling.
Let's build it.
Yeah, let's hope it goes into the correct place, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Docker is amazing, you know. Having this ability to put this, you know, into a streamlined process where it basically does this for you is super cool. I mean, imagine creating a new Docker image for your releases and everything. So that would be super cool. I mean, every time you merge to master and you tag it, you can create a new image and have it ready for deployment. So what you need to do later on is just to SSH into your server and do Docker compose update, was it, Ilya?
Docker compose up or whatever else. If you use an orchestrator, it can take care of all of that stuff by itself. You don't have to bother with it.
Right.
This is all just manual. This is, just to be clear, this is not production ready. This is production ready for this very simple application that Lazar made. That we don't need any orchestration. We don't need to scale this to thousands of users. We just need this to be used internally at our company, and that's it. That's about it. That's like that's a load of about 40 people, and it's not going to be accessed like all day, every day. So it's not supposed to be scaled as much. So we don't invest time in setting up Kubernetes or setting up Docker Swarm or any of that stuff. We just need one simple VM running Docker and using that to deploy our application. And that's all we need.
Exactly.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I think we should be about done soon once we actually get this.
It's not modules time now. This can take some time as well.
Yeah. Even though it's fast, it's way faster than on your machine because it's running in a VM there, so it has a bit of an overhead. It's still a lot of files that it needs to copy because no modules.
Non-modules.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, this is great. We actually deployed my app.
Yeah. Yeah, I am sure you were anticipating this moment for a long time.
Yeah, like, definitely. Yeah.
For the few months you were working on it.
Yeah, and also the period to come. I mean, imagine attacking, having everybody attack this, and the number of bugs that they can report and the number of features that they can request. It'll be, it'll be super cool. And yeah, I mean, you guys can also jump ship and start doing some stuff, Yeah. You don't have to stream the whole.
Like everyone who's in here in the stream, like you guys have our Twitter handles. You have the ColdCam Twitter handle. Like I would say, like feel free just to, if you have an issue with Docker or Node.js or I don't know what the hell ever else, just tweet it either at ColdCam, at @I_Boshko from Twitter, or Nicola Flazar or whatever else. Just feel free. You can just tag ColdCam, and I'm sure some of the guys will respond for any issues that you may have. So feel free to do that. Just tag us, and we'll make sure to help you out with whatever you have issues with, or at least we'll try. We're not guaranteeing that we'll succeed, but so far I don't think we've failed at executing anything. So I'll just run a quick sanity check here.
Okay.
LS. So the structure looks good. It has all of the dependencies that we need. I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm just going to do a Docker compose
up,
but I'm going to do the -ds because I want to live my life outside of the deployment. So let's see what happens.
Done. Nice. Can we see some logs now?
I would actually open up the app, but it's still failing. So let's see what's actually up here. Okay, it says provided schema path db schema.prisma. Okay, so that's now wrong, I think, because
no, we didn't copy the db.
I think so. I think that's the issue, or it's
we don't have the schema now.
Yeah, so it doesn't know what it needs to. Okay, live and learn. So Docker file.
Oh man, we're going to wait for the Docker file to build again.
I'm going to try something else. I'm going to copy the Docker file in the directory above.
Thanks, Wolves.
And I'm going to try just editing that one, just to make sure that nothing changes inside of this directory.
Okay.
And the Docker file location doesn't really matter. What matters is the argument that we pass to Docker build. So my guess is if I just don't change anything inside of the current directory, it should just use the cache properly. And I really hope this works, because I really don't want to wait like another 10 minutes for this thing to build. And we just need the DB, right? DB into DB, because we're running the migrations and the guys in the GitHub thread, they are not doing that. So let's try the Docker build, and instead of, I'm going to add another argument, which is going to be the Docker file. It's going to be the Docker file in the directory above.
Okay.
Please use the cache. God damn it. It doesn't like me, so do you have...
Question
Okay.
time.
Question time. Filler time.
Oh man.
Was there a typo?
Yeah.
Whoever
Don't
says
mention,
there's a typo.
don't mention that. Yeah.
What typo? Wait. Did I miss something? Are we just going to wait 10 minutes for nothing?
No, you're cool here. It was way
Okay.
way before.
Dr. Beep beep. That's actually a very common typo. You can mistake it with a C. You can put an I in there, and you get a whole bunch of different variations, and all of them are interesting. Whether you want to take a 5-minute break or...
I was going to say that. Yeah, we've been at it for 2 hours now.
Yeah, I need to, just to get a bit of pause while this builds, and then we'll be right back, I think.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Yeah, 5-minute break, guys, and we can proceed then.
Yeah.
All right. Be right back.
Be right back, guys.
And we are back. Alright, sorry guys, that took a bit longer than 5 minutes. But we're here.
Yeah. So while we were not here, we noticed that actually the VM ran out of space. You know, Murphy's Law and all that. So I had to do a bit of a cleanup and restarted the build. So we're close to the end now. npm install has passed, and we should be getting to the compile step in a little bit.
Yeah.
And after that, let's hope it's smooth sailing.
So just for recap, how did you clean up the space? Because the virtual machine said that there's no space left. What exactly did you do?
Yeah, so Docker has a very useful command that you can run, clean up unused images. So these images take up space. We saw that this one took like 1.7 gigs, the old versions of it. So when we compiled new ones, it took a bit more as well. So it was on top of that and on top of that. Mm-hmm. So there's this useful command that we can run to, it's called Docker image prune, and it's going to take all of the images that you have. It's going to delete every image that is unused by any container at all, and it's going to delete all of them, except for the ones that are currently in use, so it doesn't disrupt your currently running applications.
Awesome. So it does the cherry picking for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can also run Docker image RM just to remove specific images, but I don't care about that because we just need to get enough space to run the build, and then we're good to go. And now we're copying into the new second stage container, and this time we should be okay. So this is just the last step that we need to take to get this up and running. Wow, I see that my face on the stream has a total of 3 pixels, so that's cool. Sorry about that. So for those who don't know, my face is being streamed from my webcam. It's not a good webcam, but it's a webcam, to a separate server, and then it's getting beamed into Lazar's computer, and then it's being streamed to you. So that's why my face looks like a blob most of the time.
Yeah, we should probably find a better solution to that. But yeah, I think it does the job for now.
Yeah, but, you know, we have computationally free visual effects to the stream. Like, you know, people, you know, pay money to have their face glitch out like mine does every time. So, yeah, that's it's a little known benefit of a shitty connection, as I can see. Okay. So we are near the end. So it's the Blitz folder, public DB, and that's everything.
Nice. Okay.
Let's see. I'm just gonna compose up. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. No.
Okay. Get config.
Oh yeah.
Such file or directory.
So you know what we need to do now, right? We need to install libSSL.
No fear, thanks for following. Hey, by the way, you are my 200th follower. Awesome.
Oh, no fear, I think I know who you are. So, cheers, mate.
Yeah, you know him? Awesome.
I think it's, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. 200 followers. For this stream, that's amazing.
So, congratulations. And hope you get a lot more than where those came from. So I'm just going to do a quick hack here. I'm going to just Docker run this image, and I'm gonna run the npm start, and it should fail. Give me 1 second. I think I know what I'm missing here. Latest.
Yeah, no fear says, or link the library from your host operating system. Hoping it's.
Wait, why does this start but it doesn't in? Yeah, it's because we're using the Prism thing.
Yeah, it's the Prisma migrate.
I know what I'm going
It
to
actually
do.
fails.
I'm just going to say screw the migrations. We know they are already working, and I need to run the OpenSSL thing. And
Okay.
instead, I'm going to say entry point.
That's just the npm run or npm starts.
Yep, npm start, and
All right.
let's do that.
Okay.
What?
Oh,
Woo!
it's up.
It's fucking up. Yes,
Nice.
it's up. Yes, it's up.
Who
is
no,
up?
It's not up. There's an issue.
What's the
External
issue?
server error. So can we check the logs?
Yep. Whoa. Okay. So it's like it needs a bunch of these things to run.
Really?
Yeah. So what does it actually need? It needs. Oh fuck! I know what's. I think I know what's wrong. I think this is the slim version based on. Let me check if the slim version is actually based on.
But wait, what did exactly change? I mean, didn't we?
Wait. I think the slim version is the issue because the slim version.
Second phase, right?
Yeah. I think we should have inherited from Slim Alpine or something like that. Because I think this isn't the native libraries for C++ that that are used between Ubuntu and Alpine are different.
Okay.
So yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, that could be why this is failing. Okay, so I'm just gonna.
There's a node stretch slim.
And that stretch slim is the Debian based.
Okay.
And slim. They have so many different. It looks like it's actually based. Yeah, it looks like it's based on Buster, so it's based on Debian. So what do you say? Should we give it another go? Are you willing to stick to the end and just run it like this?
Yeah.
I'm just going to use the Alpine version instead. I'm not going to care about... I think this could be even slimmer than Slim, so let's try it that.
By the way, No Fear set different OS name and link the different names for the .so files and libs.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's not gonna work because, well, actually it is. It could, but it's probably not going to work because inside the container it's a it's going to be Ubuntu. Well, not Ubuntu. It's going to be Debian, but on the outside, on the host, it's Alpine. So we need to be sure that it's the exact same type of toolchain that's running on both. So we need to make sure that it's the type of distribution, even though both of them are Linux. There's a difference between how the libraries and the standard library is compiled. And I'm not really sure what the names were, but I'll just look this up and I'll tell you guys. There's a difference between like Alpine and Ubuntu in that way. I'll just look this up real quick. And 1 second. Yeah, so second. Yeah, so on Ubuntu, the C library is glibc, and on Alpine, it's this thing called muscle. So yeah, you can read about it on Wikipedia, and I'll send you the link where I'm referencing this information on. So if you read about the history of Alpine, you can see that it previously used uclibc, which is different. All of these are the same thing, but different implementations. So the GNU C library is used on most Linux operating systems, and so Alpine, in order to save size, it switched to this thing called what was it? Hang on, it's muscle now, and I haven't actually seen this being used, but yeah. So that's actually one of the reasons why this thing is as small as it is. Like, it's 25 megabytes. And Debian, even the slimmest versions of those big distributions are much bigger than something that Alpine can achieve. And Lazar, I think this is actually going to fix the SSL issue as well. At least I hope. If not, then yeah, we'll check it out. But I'm not going to be building this again. I think this is going to work and it's going to run, and we're going to try to revert the migration invocation and try to run it that way. See if it's going to fix the SSL issue. But if not, I am like 99% sure it's going to work with the npm start, if nothing else.
All right, awesome.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions? Yeah, no fear. You use a lot of meme talk. the 4chan syntax of the English language.
Syntax.
Okay, then what the hell is yeet, man?
Yeet.
Yeet.
Like, get it and throw it? Like, yeet it?
Yeah, get it and stuff it. Get it and pull it out, or something like that.
To discard an item at a high velocity.
Okay. I'm sorry, I confused your eloquence with you know, with the syntax I just mentioned. So it's been a wild ride, and hopefully we're near the finish line now. Okay, there's one more long wait for the node modules, and then we should be good to go. Muscles. You know, open source is a really good thing, but then it also stimulates like stuff like this with the different implementations of libc and all of that stuff, and it can be a mess, but in general, it's a very good thing. Is it still on no modules? Holy.
Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah. The final paces. See the moment of truth. What?
What is this?
Docker compose. I'm just going to ignore this and
oh,
what the hell?
so it cannot recognize the
Is this
bash.
Is this going to fix
try
that?
that.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, I see the absences now.
Nice. Let's see this. Awesome, there we go.
Okay, so the reason Bash worked previously is because we were accidentally on Debian, which ships with Bash, and Alpine just doesn't include that. And you remember previously, the size of the image was like 900 megabytes. So if I'm correct, and Alpine is in fact slimmer than Slim, then this should be smaller. And yeah, it's not that smaller, that
Not
much
really,
smaller.
yeah, it's like 50
It's like
megabytes.
50 megabytes smaller. So yeah, it's still a good thing. It's a good to make savings. So I'm going to try to also revert the Prisma migrate thing and see if that will work as well. But I'm going to do it in the Docker compose file instead of the Docker file, so we don't actually wait for the stupid thing to build again. And yes, it is. So the SSL issue is gone, the migration's run, and
Nice.
we are getting our application up and running in production.
Nice.
Okay, so now I can actually say that we have our application, it's in production, it's using an optimized Docker image, it doesn't weigh little, but it doesn't weigh as much as it used to. So we managed to slim it down, we managed to get it into production. We
Right.
built our very own recipe. So Lazar started this from scratch. He started with nothing but a plain old empty repository, and then he added the code, then he added all of that, special things that he needed to add. He built the UI, the API, the database, and all of that good stuff. And then we came in, we wrote this recipe for what his special little project needs to run and to actually exist and to be able to serve the needs it was built to serve. And we put that up and running both locally and in production on our very own live server. So I would say that's a job well done. It was a long journey, it was very interesting. We had a bunch of issues, but we actually, I think we finally made it. Yeah, Calvin, you should go ahead and test it. And Costa, I see you are using it as well, so.
Awesome. Man, I am so happy. This is great.
Yeah, feel free to test it, guys. Whoever actually is in CodeCamp and wants to actually try it. What else? Do you want to? I wanted to do something. I just can't remember what I wanted to do after we did this. I wanted to remove everything from this from the repository. So I wanted to I'll just remove Babel, config.js, I'll remove README, app, and integrations. Public.
You're missing .md on the README, by the way.
Okay. But yeah, you're right. Just all of this stuff, all of the source code, Chakra config test, and what else? Active JSON, types TS, yarn lock, and let's see if anything else remains. .vs code, everything actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
prettier also.
DB. We can even remove the Docker file. Test. TS config, Blitz, config.js, and now we have a clean structure with only the Docker compose file and the volume folder.
Yeah.
And if we open our application, it's still up and running. We can shut it down. We can say Docker compose down. This is going to shut off the application. We can just type up-d and it should recreate everything that we had. It should come online very soon.
Awesome. So that's all we need, right? We just need a volume and we just need the Docker compose YAML file.
Yeah, that's
and we're up and running.
Yeah, yes we are. We are now back again, up and running, and it works. And we only need one file in a folder to get our application up and running.
Nice.
Yes. Thanks for the hint. No fear, we'll make sure to change the Google keys. Thanks. I made sure to do that yesterday as well, but we must not forget that. Otherwise, get some abuses definitely.
All right, guys. This is it. This is it. There's Dookie. Awesome. All right, so I guess we should be finishing this up. Maybe we can spare some time for questions and stuff.
Yeah. Let's give like 5 minutes for any questions for anyone who wants to ask. So ask away whatever you guys have in mind, whatever is bothering you. If you want to ask something about how it's done or how it's implemented or whatever else, I don't want to keep repeating myself. So
I just want to say, man, it's been a blast. I mean, I've been doing this for like 5 months, not like straight 5 months of work, but I started it 5 months ago, and today we can see it up, right? We can use it. The CodeCamp employees can start playing with it, request a leave, and get approved, get declined, whatever it takes. But yeah, it's been super cool to actually see this, and the whole process of how we can deploy this, and as you said, the Docker compose is just, I don't know, pure magic.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very, very neat little tool that we can use, and it makes development life a lot easier. By the way, I see that my camera is very, very terrible. We have to change that.
Yeah, I'll find an alternative to the tool that we're using.
Yeah, I think my mic should be okay.
Yeah,
because
your microphone is.
But yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. And the questions? Yeah, this is the last stream for the absence tracker, by the way. So I won't be streaming any absence tracking development anymore. Caltrain, are the days off calculated automatically? Nope. You get 20 days hard-coded and use them wisely. No, we decided to not include that feature into the MVP because that's the real deal, right? So this is only the MVP. It's still missing a few key features maybe to be an actual MVP, but it's not that it's anything configurable. So yeah, it does need additional work. Will the source code be public anytime soon? Yeah, this is. And any plans to sell the tool? Yeah, open sourcing. This was a crucial step to get to the open sourcing part, because I would like, for our employees to start using it and to request some vital features that it needs and to fix the bugs, right? To make it easily configurable and everything before actually doing it, making it open source.
Yeah, I think we need a bit more work on this, just to provide the additional configuration options that we need to make it configurable and actually useful for anyone other than the current code chemistry implementation. So I think
exactly
with a little bit of work, it could be open sourceable.
Yeah. And
it's small base, so that should make it easier to get it up and running and get it to a state where we can open source it easily.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. And do we have any plans to sell it? I'm not sure. I haven't thought.
Probably
about
it. Maybe if there's interest.
There's a maybe in there, yeah, but I don't know. You know, I haven't. We haven't thought about it. So
it's a very small maybe.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. 9:45.
Yeah.
I guess we can put an end to this.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, we are putting an end to a huge chapter of my live stream, and we are going out with a blast. I mean, we dockerized some stuff, we broke a lot of stuff, fixed them, and we deployed them to our servers, and now it's live. And it's super cool. I'm really happy. I'm just tired. You can't really see it on my face, but I'm really happy. Yeah, and yeah, regarding what's coming up next, thanks, Adorian. Regarding on what's coming up next, I do have a lot of preparation before I actually start streaming it. I could do some chakra magic here and there to keep things interesting and simple. Maybe rebuild some UIs and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not going away, definitely. And the next project will be also big one. Come on, dude, I'll just get out of here. The next project will be a big one. And yeah, it requires a lot of planning. It requires, I mean, there's other people involved, so I need to build a list of people, a list of guests that I'd like to talk with them beforehand, and you know, have them agree or have them give some ideas and stuff. So yeah, there will be a lot of preparation, but I'll be doing that you know, on the side. So yeah, that shouldn't take a lot of time, but it's not going to be tomorrow, definitely. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Hey, again, 2 streams in a row, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. And yeah, guys, Ilya, thanks again for being a guest on my stream. You helped me learn a lot of things about Docker. You helped these guys here learn a lot of things about Docker. So yeah. Hey, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, and yeah, if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot at either of us or at code_chem on Twitter or on Facebook or wherever you will find us.
Yeah, I'm always on Twitter, so yeah, feel free to reach out there. Awesome.
Cheers,
all right, guys. Yeah, have a great night, and yeah, see you soon. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.